Hey, my friends. Hello. Welcome to the Backstage Pass podcast. I have a very, very special guest with us today, Dr. Anissa. And to know her is to love her. She, she has a heart of gold. She has a huge service mindset. I'll never forget a couple of wow, it was probably many months ago. I just texted her and we're all really busy in our world, right? And I texted her and I just said, "Hey, just let me know. Just let me know if you've got some time." And literally, she my phone rang. It rang like an actual person picked up the phone and called me. Not just oh, sure, anytime, right? Text reply, which would have been a super easy thing for her to do, right? And then the onus would have been on me. But she took it and took the initiative, picked up the phone, called me, was like, "What's up, love?" She's like, "And you don't ever," this is what she said to me, "you don't ever have to text me. You just pick up the phone call. You just pick up the phone and call me. If I can answer, I'm going to answer." So that is this guest, and that is the bigness of her, and this and her is who we get to bring forward to all of you guys today. So welcome, Dr. Anissa.
Thank you for having me, Leah.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Okay, so before we jump in, how would you describe? Well, before we do that, how would you describe you? The essence of you. Before we get to what you do in dentistry, before we get to, but the essence of you. I think if the world doesn't know you already, and most do, how would you like to describe you in your words?
Yeah. So I feel that what I'm continuously striving to be
Mm-hmm.
is a human form of love,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, really just creating ways that people can remember how incredible they are and the power that they have to be able to create all things. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, my journey has been really a really, I think, beautiful one of helping many people to see their potential and really see the gifts that they've been given to serve and through how we serve. And that could be, for me being a dentist or being a coach or, now with a marketing agency, right? So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it's really just trying to continuously be a servant. And also, I believe that I've a special place on this earth of helping other people to remember their gifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ah, it's so beautiful. So what what was young Anissa like?
Mm. Yeah,
Where did this heart to serve in the way that you do? Like what was what was that like?
yeah. So it's interesting, we go back to why did we become who we become? And
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time, over the last couple of years, really just trying to understand that. And, for me, maybe it was given to me uh, without me asking for it. For example, my mom worked nights. She worked at Bell South, and her department was downsizing, and it was, well, you're going to work nights or you won't work here, and so she worked nights. And so my brother and sister, they were 7 and 10 years younger. And so I, alongside my dad, we cooked for them and took care of them. And so I became this person that in first child, firstborn, right?
Mhm.
That just became the person to look after other people, right? As it evolved, that I'm not quite sure what inside me created that. I remember going to the pediatrician when I was very young, and like I want to do that. I want to help people. When I was in dental school, I've done missionary work. My first year of dental school in El Salvador, when I started delivering the first money that we actually brought in with our online education. I was at a marketing conference and I heard someone say, the more money we make, the bigger impact that we can make. That was Stu McLaren of Village Impact. And I actually gave away all of the money that we
Mhm.
created to to build schools in Kenya. And I think what I've discovered is that when we are someone who really doesn't even think about like the money of it, or like really you don't even think about the structure. You're just like, how do I just help someone? Right? Like, how can I create, like, let's just say in our dental practice, how do we create
Mhm.
a practice that just makes our team finally feel loved and seen and heard? How do we create a way that we just keep making the experience for the patient like blow their mind of
Mhm.
how their experiences and how much we know? When we do that, then now what we're doing is we're creating this gift of service, right? And so it allows us to be able to just really help people. And the output is, yeah, money's going to be made, right?
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
how do we solve problems? Like I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday with Lewis Howes, and he had this guest on who's like a record producer or whatever, and he was sharing this, and it really resonated with me. And he's just like, I just create gifts. I just create this work, right? And when we create work, we're not creating it for like what people are going to think about us. I'm creating it for what do I think is going to be the best gift of how I can make this music the best, right? And
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of creating it for me to be creative of how I can. And so like that's what I did in my dental practice, or that's what I did when we had our coaching program for 8 or 10 years. I'm like, how do I create something that doesn't exist that's creative? And now with our agency that we've had for several years, Digital Floss is the same thing. And so it's opening up all of these incredible doors where team members are like, I want to come work with you. And all of these consultants are like, I need to send my clients to you. I mean, I'm getting texts every day. The video that I just heard yesterday, testimonial of Dr. Jeff Bruski, which some people may know, we just brought them on as a client. And I listened to his video, and he was just like blown away by his experience so far with us. And he's like, this is not cookie cutter. I've done cookie cutter before. This is not that. And I've never had people like really pour into me. And so the focus is how do we build the best product and pour into people. And then what happens is that happens, which is totally
Mhm.
unexpected on my side. And then today he's texting me saying, can I send some friends to you? You know what I mean? So, um, so it's really, really cool, when we do that. And then when we do that as well, for those that are spiritual or religious, even, it's like, how do I build this as a gift to the creator?
Yeah.
Right. And so when we do that, then we can't worry about what other people are going to think about us. Are they going to get mad at us if we build this thing? We just have to build the best thing we can build that's within us. Right.
Hmm. Oh, so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, like, you just lit up when you talked about kind of giving the gifts
Yeah.
as a service. I've got two questions to piggyback off of that. Why, what do you believe makes it
Yeah.
hard for people to stay in that service, heart, conscious um, mindset? What do you believe makes it harder than
Be-
maybe it needs to be?
because we're human. Right? We're human. So we start thinking about, well, if I build this, is somebody going to be, if I create this service, is somebody else going to be mad? Like we own, I own a marketing agency, Digital Floss, right? So that's my company, right? And how many doctors are like incredible, right? They've spent so many extra years just trying to learn one particular thing. Like, let me get really good at airway, really, really good at it. Or let me get really, really, really good at placing implants or whatever, right? And
Mhm.
so they're like, I'm going to go through all this training, all this training, all this training, all this training, all this training. But they're afraid to put it out there because if somebody else who's a general dentist sees it, then they're going to feel like, oh, well, I think I'm better than them or whatever. It's like all of this humanness, right, that comes into play. But the reality and truth is that we have to get back into our heart and say, okay, what are we here to do? We're here to
Mhm.
serve people. And if they don't know that we're there, then we can't serve them.
That's right.
Right. And so when we step out of all of that other stuff and we get back and be like, all right, let's get back into my heart. What are we doing? And then how do we get patients, right? Like a lot of people are like, let me get Google ads. And then it becomes a discount. It becomes a, and then sure, right? Instead of like for us, what we do is we focus on how do we build real connections, right? Where people can feel our emotion. And when we do that, it doesn't matter how much you charge because they connect with who you are as a person and how you care and how you're going to care about them. What if something goes wrong? Are they going to blame you? Are they going to shame you? Right. And so for us, I think why we are growing as fast as we are, is because we are doing marketing in a very different way than what's been done in our industry for years. And that's why when people say, oh, marketing doesn't work, no, it does not work doing marketing from the head, right? Because then it's discounts and it's all of that stuff versus connecting with actual human emotion and putting that and tying that into your website and your socials and your Googles and like and everything, right? So it's super impactful.
Mm, I love it. And so
Yeah,
you kind of teased into it
yeah,
a little bit as to the second question.
yeah,
Um, how, other than you're not cookie cutter, other than you're not marketing in logic, right?
yeah,
Hetty,
yeah,
you are marketing the reason why, as consumers, we do
yeah,
anything,
yeah.
right? The reason we do anything is because we either feel like it or we don't feel like it.
Hmm.
And so you're tapping into the feeling there, which can be hard for us because, to your point, we're human and we've not been taught how to feel. We've not been taught how to leverage these human emotions at scale. And that is what you, I believe, is your differentiator. But can you give us an example of what it would look like? Like, I imagine a dentist that has tried all the marketing, right? They've done it all, kind of like weight loss. They've done it all and nothing works. And so they're on the fence. They're like, I've tried it all. Can you invite them to reconsider because of what?
Yeah. Yeah. So I will say marketing in 2026 um, is not about heart only and it's not about head only. It's actually both, right? It's really them connecting together, right? And so what we do, at Digital Floss is we first connect with a human copywriter. I was at Go High Level Summit a couple of weeks ago, and we had people from OpenAI, ChatGPT, if you will, or Google speaking to us. And what they shared is that AI does not want to read AI, right? Especially, the ChatGPTs. And so if you have copy that's just a words, for those that don't know what copy is, that's the words that go on your social media or on your website.
Mhm.
If it's built by a robot, they're going to know. If it's built by a human, they're going to know because they're not going to find it anywhere, right?
Mhm.
And they're not going to find the patterns. And so the first thing we do is we connect a human copywriter connects. And so then what we do is we build out these incredible scripts. And so it's built with heart and emotion, which is like, you might be thinking about implants. You've got some questions. Here's what you need to know. You might think
Mhm.
that you're going to need a prescription. I mean, I'll give you one if you need one, but at the end of the day, you'll probably ask yourself, what were you so afraid of? Coming in, let's talk about it. We'll figure it out. But then we're writing copy that's also structurally, that's head, that's going to be indexed by Google because what happened in July of 2025 is that Instagram content is now searchable by Google. Okay. This is significant. And so we're able to leverage the head part or the structure part of it to be able to get you seen. We're able to take the videos and we fly out every 4 months and we record videos, these powerful videos, and we put them on all channels: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, right?
Mhm.
Google itself, right? So Google gives us the playbook. Google's like, upload to us. Google's saying, give us short form videos. Also, a lot of people don't realize when we upload photos to our Google book profile, how are we naming them? There's a lot of SEO things that can happen, which is really cool. That's the head part, right? But we put the head on the heart, which is the incredible content. We're able to get 50,000, 80,000 people to see the videos by running meta ads. And that's all geofence, right? So it's like this street, that neighborhood, that's neighborhood. So that's the head part, right? But
Mhm.
if you put the head and you don't have the heart, then now it's just a discount. Now it's a hook of a discount. And that's why we see that people have low quality leads and all of these things, right? And you put them together and it's really powerful. But some people build good content, but they don't understand the structure and the strategy part of it. And so they have good content, but no one's seeing it, right? Or they're not being picked up by the LLMs. And it's not just your social media, which is interesting. So for the last several years, we've been only doing social media content. I'm not saying only, but we weren't doing websites, right? We weren't doing that. And what we realized is that websites have not been oftentimes touched in years. And now with AI, the schema or like what you're putting on the websites, the voice search terms. There's also different code, if you will. I'll just put in layman's terms that will has to be added so that the AI engines can read it. And so that's the head part, right? But again, a website, what we're doing is we're quarterback, right? So if people have a website company, we'll coach and say, hey, here's our photos, here's our videos. But if they don't have a good website or if they want a new one, what we're now doing is we just build out the sites. We're doing that for them, but it's really impactful because these videos can now be on your website. And so people land on there and it's not stock content. And it's actually a video of the doctor saying it takes integrity. What if we built a practice on putting the team first? And the team's like, I never worked for a doctor like this. Like here we're like family. And patients are like, this practice is, better than SeaWorld, right? And then, maybe they're in Orlando, right? And they're saying, no, when here at this practice, you don't have to go anywhere else, right? And then on your website, this is where it gets really powerful. And this is where we separate what's been done to what's possible.
Mm.
And this is good. This gets really exciting. Is now on your website, now on your social, now on your Google, wherever people click, there's an opportunity to request an appointment. And what's available now, which is so impactful, is the ability for AI receptionist, okay, to be able to
Mhm.
call the lead in 1 minute and to be able to schedule the appointment, to be able to put it in the appointment schedule, to be able to pre-qualify people for financing, to be able to ask questions of what insurance, do you can take insurance? And based on them saying I take Delta, they can now say we take Delta as an out-of-network provider. We know you're coming in for dental implants. As you know, the service fee is probably going to be more than the minimum, which typically is $1,000. While we're on the call, we can go ahead and get you pre-financed so that you can be prepared and maybe even start the same day. Like all of this is possible. What's even possible, like this is where I'm living right now. I'm in the heart, but I'm also, a lot of people don't know about me is who are you? I'm also like a freaking tech geek nerd, right? So Russell Brunson will say that I was the first, and he's vocal about it in the industry to figure out how to use funnels. In fact, we were in Kenya when I donated to Village Impact, and I was telling him about what happened with my dental practice with Invisalign and how we built a funnel. And he's like, "Wait, you can build funnels for dental?" And this was like back in 2017. I was like, yeah, Russell, like I did this thing. I was teaching this Facebook course and we got 100 appointment requests. He's like, wait, what? Right. And so he's like, tell me more about this, right? Like Russell Brunson, who founded ClickFunnels. And next thing you know, I'm speaking at Funnel Hacking Live and I'm in his book, Expert Secrets, and I'm building out stuff for them, right? But it's really fascinating that, I became that tech geek. I built out DentalFlix, which is software. And so what we're doing now, this is Ninja, right? Is these AI ambassadors, right? So when we have the copy calls, we're now able to get the human, we're getting the stories, right? We're building out all of the copy. We're using all of that or we actually have already done it, ambassadors of each practice that now can go in and can be the voice. And so literally this morning I was on with my developers. I'm like, okay, guys, this is the next level for our dashboard for our clients is taking the AI ambassador, pulling it in and integrating that in to train the workflows for the voice receptionist so that
Mm.
the voice receptionist is not a generic one from a dental company that's generic, is
Mm-hmm.
literally trained on a copy call with our human copywriter that understands SEO, that understands emotion, and now can auto write even, emails that are going in workflows. And what's even possible, because now we're in the PMSs, which is so exciting, is being able to automate going and do things like database reactivation. So
Mm.
going in to be able to have an unlimited marketing budget. What does that mean? We have people that come in and are like, I want to work with you, right? But I haven't even set a budget for marketing yet, right? And so being able to go in and have AI agents, receptionists, or text campaigns to be able to look at AR and to be able to recover AR, perhaps with the practice, not even spending to do it, but just, say, okay, recovery of a percentage. You don't pay anything unless we recover. Then now the recovery of money pays for your marketing budget. And one thing that Dan Kennedy said is the person who can spend the most on marketing will always win. And so being able to do that, or, I've coached for years. We have treatment coordinators that are like, I can't keep up. I scheduled 5 treatment plans yesterday, 5 the day before, 5 the day before. They can't keep up every day with following up. And so now being able to have automations that are doing follow-ups with AI receptionists and AI agents, voice agents to be able to call, to be able to get people scheduled for treatment plan that's first been trained by their AI ambassador with a human call. Ah! Right? Like, so yes, I geek out on like the beautiful human part of it, which is like, let's build out this great content that they're going to see the practice show up. And like what I loved about Jeff Boosky's um, message yesterday, he's like, this is not cookie cutter. Everything is
Mhm.
based on us. So anyway, I could talk. I'm a speaker. I could talk for all day, all day. Sometimes I'm on podcasts. People are like, I want to talk, right?
No, no, ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my,
that's where marketing can get really different, right? And it's this plugging this backend system, not just on your social media or your Google ads, but putting it on your website as well, like everywhere that you can be found. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Okay. So I love consciousness speak. I love possibility speak. What? And so for the doctors that are hearing this, like I would be shocked if they weren't like, oh, okay, Dr. Ness is my next call. Like,
Yeah.
how do I
Yeah.
not at least try and implement all of this and have the AR pay for itself, right? And then
Yeah.
double down, double down, double down. Okay. Sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're in 2026 now,
Yes.
like we are in the age. This is why AI is here, guys.
Yes.
It's here because one person, you know, cannot keep up with all of these things. So they do their best. And you're like, well, what is my team going to do? Aha. What are they going to do? They're going to connect with the heart. So now they don't have to do the structure. The structure's done by structural things, which are tools, right?
Mhm.
And now we as humans get to be Miss Jones. How have you
Yeah.
been? How's your mom? How's your sister? They can sit down and talk and have a conversation because they don't have to be bogged down with all of these tasks that clearly they're going to have gaps in anyway. Right? So,
Right.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. So, what do you say to the doc that's listening to this and they're still they're on the fence with AI, they're on the
Yeah.
fence with just even allowing themselves to think
Yeah.
about possibility.
Yeah. So here's a reality. Right? Um, I remember when I started my website and there was no one in my community really that had a website. Fortunately, a friend of mine Dr. Eva Izu. She's a prosthodontist. Her sister was in college. We were back at UAB days. And Eva was a good friend. Her sister said, "Oh, you're starting your first practice. You need to make a website." Well, I didn't know what that was. So I said, "Oh, well, what's that?" Everybody was doing yellow pages back then. I said, "www." I'm confused. And she said, "Just anyway." So I go and make a website, right? Perhaps the first in Birmingham, Alabama to make a website. I might have been. I'm not sure, but I think I could have been. So 8 years later, I was number one, still on Google, right? And then Facebook came out. And at that point, I was opening another office at that time. And I was like, I remember what happened with my website. I'm not going to snooze on this, right? So I'm like, I'm going to start trying to figure it out and test it. And anyway, a year later, we had 50,000 following us on Facebook, and we were getting 50 patients a month. And that was before ads came out, right? So anybody that watched your content or saw something on Facebook, if they wanted to see you again, they'd have to follow you. That was how it worked.
Hmm.
And so when ads came out, it didn't work like that anymore, right? And so I had an unfair advantage because I already had all of these people that followed me. And because it wasn't noisy, right? I got a lot of I got a lot of attention, right? And so I will say this. You may say, and I say we're in another age of this. This is what's going on right now with AI, right? And so people are searching now on ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and it's way better than doing research on Google all day long. And
Hmm.
I think that's why Google ad costs are going up, because there's this great migration. And not necessarily just to ChatGPT, but there's just so many options right now, right? And so for those that are in denial, like I had a dentist 8 months ago, was like, "Oh, this is just, this is fear mongering. You're telling people this." And I was like, okay. And they're like, "Google's got a lot of money." That's what they were saying. I said, "Well, that's what they said to AOL. You know, when Google came, they said that to AOL. They said that to Blockbuster. And
Hmm.
so you can live in a world of denial if you choose to. That's we all have a choice, don't we? Right?
Yeah.
But the truth is that there's a window of opportunity, and this is what we heard. It was confirmed when we spoke to OpenAI um, team that said there's a window of opportunity, and the first two or three people that are going to be recommended by ChatGPT, just like if we have an endodontist that we love or orthodontist that we love, we're going to keep referring to them. Even if the young dentist comes along and is good too, we're just going to go with who we trust, and they're going to do the same. And so if you come along a year from now, and let's just say you're somebody, that's been practicing for 20 years and have built a lot of reviews on Google itself, and you think you're okay. I mean, you might be okay because no one else maybe is doing, the omni-channel approach or preparing. But as people are moving forward, they are. And so if you're not uh, preparing, or if you're waiting until, someday, other people are going to claim that spot. And that's just the truth. This is just the truth, that there's no emotion around the truth. The truth is the truth.
Right.
And my role as an educator, which I've been many years in the industry, is to help colleagues understand the truth. And then what you do with that is your choice, right? And so I'm not here to convince anyone that you have to do anything. I'm just here to share the truth, right?
Hmm. I love it. I love it. Okay, so before we get into how our doctors practices, anyone that hears this can find you, get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Um, where do you envision? Because I know this isn't the end for Dr. Anissa. Like, where do you envision dental floss in the next year, two, five, and then where do you envision you?
Yeah, so this is actually my last gift to the industry. This is my fourth company in the dental industry, and I think that every single company that I've built has been a prerequisite actually for this, which is interesting. So, becoming a dentist, understanding, what it feels like to be a dentist, being a provider, being someone who has built a business on caring about people and understanding and going through that journey is very relevant to what I do right now.
Mhm.
And then becoming a consultant and going down that role of helping understand EBITDA and growth and profitability and systems that need to be pulled out and the real bottlenecks and the truths and all of that stuff. I mean, I was teaching K6, all of that stuff, right? I think is a prerequisite. And then I built a software company, right? Dentalflix, right? And I built software for my coaching as well. And so what's fascinating is we're also integrating that in. So we're integrating in, that's just something we do for value. I was told I was supposed to give my clients, they're supposed to get access to trainings. We already built it. Oh, wow, it's already built. So, so literally this morning I'm talking to my developers. I'm like, okay, cool. When they log into their dashboard for the marketing, there's an education tab and they just get in there and they get all of this education, right? So that's really cool, right? And so everything has been a prerequisite actually to this.
Mhm.
And this is the last gift, which means that I get to be on the playground right now. So I get to hire all of these incredible people, developers. I'm like, this is what I want to do, right? I want to have this happen. And you're like, we can make that happen for you. Thank you very much, right? And because I'm not building this with the intention of how many clients, how much money, like all of the thing, I'm actually really now is like I realize I can accomplish everything. I saw you recently um in Atlanta as we're recording this call at the Tower Leadership event, and I spoke on that stage. And I'm so grateful because Eric Morin provided that freedom for me to talk about showing up as your authentic self and all these marketing uh, nuances and all of these advancements that are possible so that people can find us. But at the same time, he opened this beautiful space for me to share my truth, right? And that's really powerful. And so I thought I was going to be like, oh, I'm going to be in for a couple of years, and then maybe I'm going to exit the company, and right now, honestly, I don't see that happening. Um, I see obviously that time will come, but I see that I just continue to keep making this better and better and better. And what's happening is that we are getting the best videographers in our industry already with us, and other videographers are watching our work and they're like, can I come work with you? And they're really high level. I mean, team members are just coming to us like who have a lot of experience. They're like, one of my team members says, I don't know, just saw a meditation. I was supposed to come work with you. And here I am showing up for duty. I'm like, wait, what? Right?
Hired.
And so, like, all of our teams like that, like everybody that's coming in is just like, how do I love our doctors more? How do we keep surprising and delighting them? Right. So it's like, let's give them education. There's some other really cool things we're going to be doing. Like when we come in and do the shoots for them, like having a box that they're going to open up. There's going to be a surprise for some things for them and their team right before the shoot. Like and we're brainstorming this on a Sunday with our team. We're like,
My
oh,
God.
this is a cool idea. We're going to love on them more. And so it becomes, how do we love on them more? How do we build our best product? And on the tech side, how do we keep building more things to take it off of the doctor's place? Because what happens is there's a lot of blame shame that happens, right? It's like, oh, well, your marketing is not working because you're not following up with leads. Well, because I'm a real dentist, I'm not practicing anymore. I retired after 20 years, but I get it. Doctors don't have time for that. Their team members don't understand how to do that, and they don't have time for that. And so instead of blame shame, in my mind, I'm like, well, how do I solve for that? You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And like, how do I solve for the fact that their team member can't follow up on 30 treatment plans a week? How do we solve for that? Right. And so that becomes on my space where I get to be creative and I get to use and leverage, the income and revenue that comes into the company to be able to use that as a tool, right? Not as the apple and think that the apple's the harvest, right? But it's not, because it's not the apple, it's the seed. And the seed allows us to be able to plant more apples. And so as we serve more people, it provides us to have more seeds, if you will, to plant, to build, more apples and more apple trees, which are all of the services that we can deliver to make the product even better for them, right? Yeah.
So Uh, it's so good. Okay. Share. They're probably like, can you just get to the point, Leah? How do I reach out to her? Can you give me her name number? Sold.
That is so funny.
How do people get to
Yeah, it's easy. Just go to Digital Floss, digitalfloss.com. Follow us on Instagram. You could see, we're on all social platforms, but you can see what we're doing. We're really proud. I mean, we're serving doctors. We're also very humbled to have significant partnerships in the industry with Neodent and Straumann. Um, we're media partners of them as well as Greater New York and Henman, uh, the Congress, Florida Dental, like, and that doesn't come just because we want it, right? It comes from um, really over delivering and building really great product, and so we're grateful for those opportunities, but we also understand, that it's our mission, our purpose, even with that, to help the meetings get seen, and so we're building those collaborations. But yeah, the practices that we're serving, it's super impactful because we're able to do everything, create content, post it everywhere, build ad campaigns, build websites, and cool with all of these AI tools that are available, have marketing look a very different way than it's ever looked before, which is really, really cool.
oh, it's so cool. I
Yeah.
I love that I get to do this podcast with you. I love
Yeah.
that I get to be your friend. I love
Yeah.
that I get to call you just because you gave me permission. Like
Anybody
so
can call me. It's
so
so funny.
cool, right?
Like people hey, can I send a client to you? And I'm like, yeah, just do a text intro. And then I text them. I'm like, hey, are you free? Right. And then I'll like transfer to our team to do the actual demos. Right. But this is to me a business about old school values, and I think that's what I told you. I'm like, everybody I talked to, I'm like, look, I'm old school. All of that, can we email each other to like figure out when we're gonna get on a call to get your link? That I'm just old school. So I'm like, just call me. And if I can't talk, like I'll call you back. You know what I mean? And and the same thing, we got great team members. So I'm like, I'll have a call with you and connect and learn. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna have Danny or someone in our team to show you the demo and like really answer all of those deeper questions. But yeah, digital floss, if you're curious about how we can help, want to get another opinion on what you're currently doing, right? Like that's what we're here for, just to be a resource and a trusted partner in the industry.
And that you are, and that you are. Dr. Nissa, it was amazing having this conversation. The world at large thanks you. Dentistry thanks you. So thank you for being with us today, and you all know how to find her. Help yourself, help your practice, help your patients. Take care,
Thank you, Leah.
everybody. You bet. Bye-bye.